More Canadians than ever before are having to turn to food banks to get by.
Canadian households owe more in debt than the value of Canada's entire economy, with nearly 3/4 of that debt tied to mortgages.
A stagnant economy, zero growth, and a lot of anxiety about what comes next.
The developed world is experiencing an unprecedented migration surge. Last year, the United States saw a net influx of 3 million people, while Canada welcomed 2 million immigrants. Canada's immigration policy, known for being one of the most open globally, is now seen as economically damaging and in need of reassessment by the nation's leading economists. In 2017, temporary immigrants constituted 2% of Canada's population. This figure has now risen to 7%. The first 9 months of 2023 marked the fastest population growth, surpassing the record growth of 2022.
Unfortunately for Canada, it's the first time that we actually fall in a population trap in modern history.
A population trap occurs when a country's rapidly growing population exceeds the capacity of its infrastructure to support it. Justin Trudeau's decision to significantly increase immigration, allowing an influx of temporary workers and international students without adequate support, has led to numerous economic issues, such as higher inflation and reduced productivity. The Canadian economy faced an unprecedented contraction outside a recession, largely driven by a population surge that has pressured per capita GDP growth. This absorption challenge is most evident in the housing sector, where the supply deficit hit a new record, with only one housing start for every 4 people entering the working-age population, compared to the historical average of 2.
We would need to build 700,000 homes per year in this country, whereas the best we've ever done is roughly 370,000.
While the housing shortage has garnered the most attention, capital stock encompasses various elements, including infrastructure, hospitals, and schools. The report highlights that although Canada's inflation rate stands at 3%, shelter costs are rising at 6% annually. Many Canadian cities have experienced significant increases in rental housing prices. While the central bank's policies are responsible for the increase in mortgage interest costs for homeowners, the surge in rental prices is largely due to the dramatic population growth. Canada's unemployment rate now at 6% indicates hiring is not keeping up with demographic growth. Such a significant rise has only occurred once during the tech bubble burst in 2001.
The question on everyone's mind is where things go from here.
The economists recommended that Canadian policymakers should align population targets with the limitations of the country's capital stock, which includes more than just housing supply. They estimate that to avoid this trap, annual population growth should be limited to 300,000 people. In response to criticism over housing costs, Trudeau has recognized the need for changes. Immigration Minister Mark Miller has committed to making it more difficult for colleges to increase foreign enrollment without ensuring adequate housing and services.